It has this tropical feel that is definitely going to take you on a trip as you are exploring yourself. What? What? Oh, hello, beard, it's your boy Big BB, and we are back for another edition of Big Beard Business. So, my friends, spring is officially upon us, and if you have not taken the opportunity to check out my top 10 designer fragrances for spring, then be sure to click on the links down below after you watch this video. I'll leave it posted in the comments section as a pinned comment. Today we're discussing spring fragrances as well, but some that are a little bit different. So today we're talking about 5 unique spring fragrances for men that will make you feel more alive. Now, if you're anything like me, when I think of spring, I think of the rebirth. And no, I'm not talking about Lil Wayne's album, that rap album. Ugh. No, man, I'm talking about the rebirth of things here in places like Tennessee and all across the world. You begin to see trees become back to life and grass begins to grow again, and it's a little different than being down in Florida because that stuff never changes. So today we're going to dive into my list, and I would like to know what you think about them. So without any further ado, let's get down to Big Beard Business. Now, first up on our list today, we have a fragrance from the house of Commodity, and this is part of Commodity's Scent Space fragrance collection, and this one is Commodity's Moss Plus. Now, Moss Plus is one of those fragrances that really puts me in the mindset of spring as well as the great outdoors. With this fragrance, you can expect notes like amber, juniper berry. You can also expect oak moss and patchouli within a fragrance like this. Now, with this one being the plus version, it is set to project a bit more and reach out and touch others more than you would get from the traditional moss or moss minus. This fragrance here is something that I think is really earthy, it's green, and it embodies everything you would think of for spring and, again, being in the outdoors. On first spray of Moss Plus, you're gonna get bergamot and juniper berries, and that's where majority of this fragrance lies. Then you transition into the mid, and then finally in the base where you get more of those green elements like that oak moss and patchouli. Overall, I think this is a good scent, and if you like something that is fresh, manly for sure, and has that outdoorsy woodsman vibe, this is a fragrance that I would urge you to try, specifically in the spring. Be sure to try this fragrance out from Commodity, Moss Plus. Now, as I dive into this next fragrance and tell you about it, nothing about this fragrance screams spring, but when I wear this fragrance, I think, whoa, this is a nice spring fragrance. Now, this fragrance comes from Goods, nothingbutgoods.com. Goods the battle rapper, if any of you out there are familiar. If not, be sure to click on the links down below because he's a beast when it comes down to it, and I support what he has going on. This fragrance is none other than that of G30 or Gentleman's 30. Now, Gentleman's 30 is a term that's used in the battle rap culture, but if you're not from that, have no fear. Your boy is here to kind of put all that stuff to the side and tell you about this fragrance. Now, when I said that this fragrance has nothing to do with spring, but also everything to do with spring, that it really makes you feel alive and invigorating, let me dive into it. This fragrance does feature sweet pipe tobacco, dark vanilla, and it also has some powdery aspect to it. But as this fragrance begins to really pop off the skin and dry down, it becomes amazingly fruity, and that fruitiness lingers in the air. That is something that is sweet, it's invigorating, it's inviting, and well, it might make them want to take a nibble out of you. Man, be sure to try this fragrance, Gentleman's 30, and it's on sale right now at the time of filming this video, so be sure to check this fragrance out. It's one that's not everyone's going to have in their collection, but it's definitely going to help you stand out. An amazing fragrance for in the house, Gentleman's 30. As we transition to the midway point on today's list, this next fragrance is one that just does a wonderful job in terms of compliment factor, as well as just making you smell amazing. That's more important overall. The fragrance comes from the house of Rihanna, and this one, it happens to be Coconut Nanas. Now, Coconut Nanas, when I first smelled this fragrance, I thought that it had almost this banana vibe to it, but it's pineapple-y for sure, and it's tropical. So if I had to kind of relate it back to anything, it's like a pina colada. There is a lot of fruit within this fragrance. It has this tropical feel that is definitely going to take you on a trip as you are exploring this fragrance. Pineapple, coconut, frangipani, peach. It has an almost feminine feel to it. So if you're a super manly man, this one may not be for you, but I feel that it is right on the line where I feel comfortable wearing this fragrance. And I've talked about this one in almost weekly fragrance rotations when I almost brought it back and talked about kind of how this fragrance did work for me. I wear this one with confidence, knowing that I'm going to be one of the best smelling people in the room when I do rock this fragrance. Now, what I've learned over the course of having this fragrance, it doesn't have the longest longevity out there, but it's not a slouch. But I would feel comfortable carrying this fragrance with me and reapplying, because the top of this fragrance really keeps you yearning for more, and I think that that is a great place to be in. So if you're looking for a fragrance, it's going to be a lot different than things that some of your friends or coworkers may be wearing, and help you stand out from the crowd a bit and help you feel more alive, especially if you don't have time to travel. This is the fragrance that's going to do it for you. Coconut Nanas from the house of Rihanna. Now we're down to our final two fragrances on today's list, and this next one is one that is also sure to take you on a journey. This fragrance features lemon, bergamot, lychee, and some mysterious notes out there that may or may not exist. The fragrance comes from the house of Imaginary Authors, and this one is Imaginary Authors Falling into the Sea. Now, Falling into the Sea to me is one that does have a almost aquatic feel, but very, very different. By the name of it, you would think that this one is oceanic, and I don't get that with this fragrance. I did something that has a slight tropical feel to it, that kind of has that, again, that more of aquatic feel to it, but it's not an aquatic scent. When I think of, oceanic fragrances, I think of saltiness, and I don't get that with this fragrance. More so with this fragrance, I get some lemon, I get that bergamot here as that undertone, and more so the lemon plays on the back burner here. There is a blast of floral within this fragrance, so you wouldn't need to feel comfortable with doing that. But again, if you're looking for a fragrance that's going to be a very different than what you may experience on your friends and co-workers, and also if we're thinking of florals in the spring and being revitalizing and bringing new life to things, I think this fragrance is one that will allow you to do it. Now, there's also this mystery note or fake note of warm sand here, but this does have this warmth to it, that it's not like a warm ambery scent, but it's not like your super airy tropical scent. So all in all, I think it's a fragrance that a lot of people out there will enjoy. It has a touch of sophistication to it, and it's not like a play teenage scent. So you can wear this fragrance with confidence and know that you smell good. And again, it's not going to be a fragrance that is in everyone's collection. So rest assured that wearing this fragrance is not going to come off as a beachy scent, right? Because sometimes fragrances that are tropical and have that quality to it tend to do so, but that's not what you get with this fragrance. Very different, very, very different. Be sure to try this fragrance out, Falling into the Sea from the house of Imaginary Authors. And the final fragrance I want to talk about is one that a subscriber put me onto in my DMs, like, hey, try this fragrance, try this fragrance, try this fragrance, over and over again for about, I don't know, a couple months or so. And I finally got the fragrance last year, I want to say, was it 2021? Either 2021 or 2020. I think 2020 is when they started talking to me about it. Might have picked it up in 2021, but I've been super happy with this fragrance. I did buy a decant immediately after they came to me like the second or third time. Did get a decant, now I have a full bottle here. This one comes from the house of Hermetica, and this one is Jade 888. Now, Jade 888 or Jade 888 is really very different. Now, this one is a part of the Emerald Stairways collection, and you get what you get with Hermetica. This is a very natural fragrance, but it does have a green component to it. I'm not just saying that because the bottle is green. For me, when I smell this fragrance, and I'm not sure how this one will come off to you, but when I smell this fragrance, something in here reminds me of a cucumber. Now, I would be remiss without mentioning that this fragrance does have a strong floral presence in it. You have Lily of the Valley, which is prominent within this fragrance, but you also get this pear aspect here, and I find that pear to be quite enjoyable within this fragrance. But there's also musk and I believe some ginger in this fragrance as well. Like some of the others here, this one will probably be the most feminine leaning out of the fragrances that we've talked about today, at least to me. But the way this fragrance is composed, I feel like this is another fragrance that I do feel comfortable wearing, and I think a lot of guys out there will as well. Some men out there are just like hard pressed, boom, I need musk woods, a little bit of citrus, and I'm good. But some others out there would like to explore florals and are okay with that. And if that's you, then this is a fragrance that I'm going to tell you to try. If not, don't get this fragrance. Try the others on this list and you'll be good. If that's how you feel like you just need the manly of the manly, then go ahead and try out the first fragrance that we talked about, or Gentleman's 30. So it would be one of these two here, Musk Plus or Gentleman's 30. Those would be the ways that I would tell you to go if you just want, you know, something that is super manly fragrances, but also have that uplifting and renewed energy type of feel to it. Those are fragrances that I would tell you to try out. So that's my list today of 5 unique spring fragrances that will make you feel more alive. Be sure to try these fragrances out, and if you have any that you would like to mention, then comment that down below. Let's use this as a forum for people to really find new fragrances that they may not have heard of. Listen, that's all I have for you guys and girls out there today. As always, I'm your boy, Big Beard B. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend that we are back again. And you already know what I need you to do. Just hit the goddamn bell.